Most parents are wary of the so-called heavy metal music.
Salut à tous, durant tout l'été, METALXS vous fait vivre ses rencontres les plus marquantes du Hellfest 2024. METALXS, c'est l'essentiel de l'actualité métal et dérivée en exclusivité sur RIFFX by CRÉDIT MUTUEL, la plateforme de toutes les musiques, tous les talents, en partenariat avec Artforce. C'est parti! Fidèle à sa réputation, comme chaque année, le Hellfest multiplie les records d'affluence et de groupes à l'affiche. Cette édition n'échappe pas à la règle. Le festival est un pèlerinage incontournable à la réputation internationale. Même si, à l'approche du week-end prolongé, sans doute parce que c'est la rançon du succès, des voix s'étaient élevées pour critiquer l'éclectisme de l'affiche, lorgnant vers des artistes plus mainstream, qualifier le festival de parc à thème, ou encore pour dénoncer sa politique de prix. La rapidité avec laquelle, début juillet, les billets pour 2025 se sont écoulés, sans qu'aucun nom n'ait encore été révélé, a, une fois de plus, calmé les critiques et rassuré les sceptiques. Comme en 2023, l'événement s'est déroulé sur 4 jours et c'est sur le principe d'un épisode de METALXS par jour de festival que nous allons passer ensemble avec vous cet été. Nous voici donc le jeudi 27 juin à Clisson et c'est le début des hostilités. Première interview de l'après-midi avec Asinhell. Pour ce projet en marge de Volbeat, nous attendions évidemment Michael Poulsen accompagné de Mark Greve. En festival, il faut s'attendre à tous les imprévus. C'est finalement le chanteur seul qui montre le bout de sa casquette. Il nous raconte comment ce projet death metal, à cheval sur le Danemark et l'Allemagne, a vu le jour et au passage, pourquoi Michael vient de nous faire faux bond.
I know Michael for very long time actually. We shared the same distribution company back in the early 90s and stuff. So I know that Michael was always like, his heart always belonged to the death metal stuff as well. As I said before, it's like when you are 13, 14, 15 and discover that kind of music, that kind of stays with you for the rest of your life, even if you experience other stuff over the years, which is kind of natural. The same thing with me, I was also like listening to other stuff besides death metal, but the stuff that stays with you in the juvenile years, I think is the one that's where your heart is at. And of course, we always talked about like, let's do a death metal band or something, but I didn't take it too serious because Volbeat was getting so huge and so busy, and I was like, okay, I'm there if you think we're gonna do that. Well, I'm there, no doubt about that. And and then in 2002 I got the call from him, and he said, let's do this, and that's the point where it started, like we wrote the songs very, very quick because Michael knows his stuff, he's still a huge death metal nerd and fan. He's out now at the metal market finding stuff, and that's his apology for not being here at the interview actually, because he's such a dedicated fan, and I think that's great. It's like if you're such a fan of the music and go to festivals, to go to metal markets and find obscure stuff, that means a lot that you are still connected to the music.
Marc a déjà joué à Clisson il y a 13 ans et il voit nettement l'évolution du festival.
I've been here with my other band Morgoth in 2011, I think, so it's the second time, but compared to 2011, there's a lot of improvement, I would say. A lot of more, strange and crazy things going on. I remember last time it was really cool already, but this time I'm just like blown away by the whole like organization, how great it's structured and how crazy art is on the whole festival. It's insane.
Autre figure rencontrée qui ne tarit pas d'éloges sur le Hellfest, le chanteur de Dark Tranquillity Michael Stanley. Le Suédois en parle en connaisseur puisqu'il y a joué 4 fois auparavant, dont un baptême en 2007.
I mean, of course, part of it is another festival because that's what we do in the summer, but this is the highlight without a doubt. Like there's something about this festival, yeah, seeing it from kind of the early years of Fury Fest and seeing where it is now, it's been fantastic. And I'm really excited for some of the guys in the band who haven't been here. You know, they're like blown away. Like, what the fuck are we gonna play here? Like this is amazing. So I'm super excited. We're gonna premiere some new songs from the upcoming album that we haven't played before. So it's definitely gonna be special. Like, that's for sure. And it's amazing to see. Like every year we come here, it's like something is new, something is different, and it just keeps getting better. Like this, there's no better festival.
There's no better place in the world right now than being here at Hellfest. Am I correct? Fucking awesome. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
I love that because I think what is cool about like going to a festival is like it becomes its own kind of ecosystem. You know, you don't see anything else around you. This is where you are right now. Cell reception is pretty bad. You don't have to communicate with anyone outside, and I love that. And I think the way that this festival is constructed, you know, makes it even more so. You know, you're in fucking hell here in beautiful France. You know, it's a contradiction in terms, but it works, and that's the kind of experience you want. You know, when you go to a festival, it's like this is where you are. Everybody's in the same place. You're sharing it like this experience with 100,000 other people, and everybody walks away going like, "Holy shit, let's do this again." You know, it's pretty spectacular. And I love that. I mean, I love a city festival, you know, where everything's kind of smooth. You can just go to the hotel and stuff. But this is special. Like this is the kind of like, and I love like, you know, like 70,000 tons of metal. Like you're on a cruise. That's special because you can't leave, basically. And I think the vibe here is that you don't want to leave. You want to stay here.
Cela arrive de temps à autre. L'actualité discographique d'un groupe coïncide avec le Hellfest. Et c'est le cas pour Dark Tranquillity, qui sort son 13e album, End Time Signals, le 16 août, et nous en parle en avant-première.
It's an album we worked on for a very long time. We feel this is a truly special album in our catalog. And it means a lot to us, just the fact that we kind of did it and we got through it, and I think we have something more to say with this album than some of our previous ones, just because of the fact that it's written by our keyboard player Martin and Johan, our guitar player, so it's a very singular vision about what it should be. It's very kind of it's very focused, and I don't know, it's very emotional, and it's the most emotional thing we have done for sure, and that's why it's a bit frightening knowing that it's because it's kind of raw emotionally, but I hope people will get it and understand it or dig it. I don't know, but I'm really, really excited. But it's always like that. You're like, you know, it's going to be fine, but at the same time, not really. So there's a bit of worry, but I don't know. I'm just excited. Can't wait. A few more weeks.
Est-ce parce que c'est vraiment un groupe à part, inclassable, qu'Enter Shikari se retrouve à jouer sur la Warzone à 1h du matin? Eux, en tout cas, prennent leur tardive avec philosophie.
Yeah, I'm more worried, like we'll be alright, but I'm more worried about the audience. Like in this heat, like surely everyone just wants to go to sleep by as soon as it starts getting dark, maybe, I don't know.
We're just hoping about time, once it cools down, everyone's going to be so happy that it's going to have a nice bit cooler, they want some energy for us.
Yeah, as long as they save some energy for us, we'll be happy.
C'est leur deuxième passage à Clisson et les Britanniques apprécient cet environnement si particulier.
I mean, I haven't seen as much as you have, but by the gist I get that it helps create an atmosphere of just like escape. You know, it feels like you're entering an alternative world, and I think that's really good for the mind. You know, it's almost like going on a trip, but like a drugs trip, but without having to do the drugs. You know, you come here and everyone feels a bit more relaxed. You know, and forget our lives, forget our jobs, and we just kind of enter this new world. I think that's a really good mindset to be in. Yeah, there's that feeling of freedom, feeling of like community, which is really important that we seem to lose in every other part of life at the moment. So yeah, it's good to concentrate on that stuff.
Ils ont beau être dans le circuit du metalcore depuis presque 20 ans, les Écossais Bleed From Within se sont produits seulement pour la première fois en 2023 dans un festival français, au Motocultor, mais jamais encore au Hellfest avant cette édition. Et ça a l'air d'être le Saint Graal pour eux.
Oh, for sure, Hellfest has been our dream to play since we've been a band, like 18 years ago.
It comes across as such a legendary festival, and every time I see the lineup, I'm blown away. I'm like, I want to be a part of this. So
everyone knows Hellfest.
Yeah, it's so good to finally be a part of it. So.
Oh yeah,
we love it.
We love it, man. Like it's such a legendary festival, and this is our first time playing, which is crazy. But yeah, we've been a few times before, just with other bands. We've never actually played, and it's crazy. We're playing main stage too, but it's like I said, it's a dream come true for us.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Plein soleil, chaleur assez lourde, drôle de temps pour un vampire. Alors qu'il doit jouer sur l'altar à 1h du matin, Danny Fields apparaît pourtant très décontracté. Trop peut-être, avec son choupa-choups à la bouche. Mais il a le droit de tout se permettre. C'est quand même sa 7e venue à Clisson. Et on lui demande d'ailleurs s'il a reçu une carte de fidélité.
I should have one, shouldn't I? Do you want to talk to the powers that be and get me that sorted?
We should do that.
Thank you.
Should do that.
Pourquoi affectionne-t-il autant le Hellfest?
It's the attention to detail. You know, the fact that it's like its own little infernal populated town with all towers and statues and gardens, and it's always been wanting to be like that, but it's getting better and better.
Devenir une institution, le Hellfest l'est désormais, tout comme Cradle of Filth. Comment voit-il les 30 ans de carrière qui l'ont amené à cette reconnaissance?
Like this. It's been a while, 30 years. This year's the 30th anniversary of our debut album, so it's a count from there, really. It's been busy. It's been fun. That's what we do. Make sure we enjoy every minute of it.
Profiter de chaque minute au Hellfest, c'est aussi notre mission. D'année en année, le public des premières éditions regrette qu'un festival de cette ampleur devienne une machine commerciale qui s'éloigne de l'esprit d'origine.
That's what a lot of people say. You know, I know that there's always complaints about it's getting too commercial or whatever. I think that's just the choice of people, what they can choose. You know, if they are not into that stuff, they can go to club shows in their hometowns, you know. But to have an experience like this, like Hellfest, or in Germany, Wacken Open Air is like pretty much the same size, you know, like people-wise, and I think it's great. You know, one time of a year, everybody's looking forward to have such a festival. And of course, during the year, it's great to support your favorite band in the club also. So the privilege of having both club shows and great festivals like Hellfest, that's a dream that would come through for me when I was like grown up in the 80s, like 14, 15 years, you know, this would be like paradise for me, you know, and it's finally happening, so it's great to experience this kind of festival in the age of 55 or 54 actually. That's great.
I'm really one of my favourite things, theme parks. I really like it. I like the attention to detail. I like all the sculpturing and the hellscapes, the fire, the waterways, the viewing areas. It's all very well mapped out. It's great. I wouldn't call it a new Coachella, would you? But no, I like it. I like the vibe of it. It's cool. It's a little bit more than just music. Because funny enough, people bring their families and not everybody's into, you know, death metal, for example. So it's a place, you know, families can be in a metal environment.
Cause we've been waiting for you into this place. And give you a taste. Walk you around and I'll be so scared. You'll be back soon anyway. I see a distant light. My girl, this can't be right. Such a surreal place to see. How did this gonna be? Right to one.
Et il y a toujours des débats sur la question des têtes d'affiche et de la difficulté à leur renouvellement.
I mean, it is great to see like some of the big bands around, but I think my general opinion about festivals and like headliners is that it's the least important part of a festival, because those big bands you can see on their own headlining shows in, you know, your city of choice or your clear city. If I want to see Metallica, I want to see them on their own stage, in their perfect, you know, in their world, instead of at a festival. So I think what's great about festivals is that you get to see a bunch of other bands, and some bands that you normally wouldn't see, or that won't have an audience headlining, but they will have an audience at a festival. And I think that's the cool, like where bands come to have their best audience ever and the best experience ever, instead of, yeah, it's just another festival for most big bands who normally would do this by themselves. So, but it's been fascinating to see how it's changed, because I mean, Hellfest always has the best lineup of any festival every year. I mean, that's just a fact.
I would say today is Avenged Sevenfold is headlining this festival. I mean, to me, they are kind of a new band, because I grew up in the 80s. So to me, it's like Iron Maiden, Ozzy Osbourne, Judas Priest, Metallica, Megadeth. Bands like that are, in my mind, the headliners, you know. But those bands became big in the 2000s, and it's okay for like that. That means that the metal scene is alive and healthy, because they are young kids finding their own favorite bands, and if they buy metal, that only can be good for the whole scene and the whole movement.
Who knows? I think the industry is desperately scrabbling to find someone. They had their Ghost, and now they're looking for someone else. Who's that new band, the Sleep Token? Everybody's like, this is a new thing. It's not my cup of tea at all,
but it has the potential to be one.
Well, the industry think it's got the potential. That's a difference.
Younger bands like Bring Me Horizon, Architects, Bad Omens, that sort of Spirit Box.
Yeah, I think that's a new generation.
Generation of bands that are really like pushing metal to the next level, and not like pushing the venue sizes to bigger level and bigger festival slots. So I think that sort of group of bands are really opening doors for bands like us and younger metal bands. Yeah.
L'autre question qui enflamme de plus en plus les réseaux sociaux, c'est l'ouverture progressive de la programmation du Hellfest à des artistes plus rock et moins extrêmes.
I'm a fan of all kind of music, and I wouldn't say anything bad about those bands, because I like that stuff as well. I think it's the wide range of guitar-oriented music that is great to see that it's still there and still popular, which is great. You know, I think it's great to see also young people buying vinyl still. You know. I think that's the same with like having a healthy scene for rock music in any kind of way. And yeah, I wouldn't say anything bad about the rock movement as well. It's great to see how many great rock bands there are, and great festivals too.
No, I agree with him. I think there's too many places you can go and see that shit. You can go and see that, you know, I've seen that happening with Download as well. You've got so many other festivals these bands can play. I think Download used to be, for a start, a platform for metal. Just, you know, metal, heavy metal, new wave, British, whatever, heavy metal. And there's so few outlets to do that in the UK. It's that, or Bloodstock, or smaller festivals like Dominion, which we're headlining, I would say, in November. Yeah, and the same for, because otherwise they'll see the potential in that, and obviously there's more fans of that kind of music than there is, you know, metal and thrash, death, hardcore, punk, because it's niche. So if they start seeing more money come in, you'll find, oh, they'll move it to 5 days, and then the 6th day will be it'll be fucking, you know, it'll be the Spice Girls, it'll be Taylor Swift, and then it'll dissipate, and then the metal stuff will just. So no, I agree with whoever's moaning. No, because they can go and play their Glastonburys, they can go play their Coachellas, they can go and play fucking Vans Fest, whatever.
I mean, if you listen to our music, it's
we shouldn't be here.
Very diverse. So we always think that there should be no boundaries with music, and so I guess we would agree that.
I would just tell them to go fuck themselves. Like, you know, if you want to go to a festival where it's just fucking doom, black metal, nothing else, then create your own festival that's for that. And I'm sure it'd be great, and I'd probably go. But also, we like everything from like drum and bass to classical music to rock to hardcore punk. So I just enjoy music, and I think they make the more interesting festivals, because after you've seen like 3 bands who are like fucking blisteringly heavy, you're a bit like, I'm ready for something else. So it just keeps it interesting. It keeps the day dynamic if you have lots of different bands offering you different emotions, different textures, different things that are going to excite you. So
I think it's great, man. Like we come from the UK, and Download Festival is the biggest festival, and they always have rock bands playing, and like Queens of Stone Age headlined this year, and they always have bands like that, and it works, man. Like you can't just listen to the same type of music like every single day. It's good to broaden your horizons, so I think it's a good thing.
Exactly, yeah.
But you know, they still have the extreme bands. You have everything.
I have nothing against that, because I think it's great, and those are great bands, but same, and as I said, like, I'd rather go to see Foo Fighters at an arena show than a festival, you know? And the same with Metallica or Maiden or stuff like that, because, and maybe it's because I have the option. I live in a city where it's close to go to Stockholm or to Copenhagen or something like that, and can see the headline shows. So that's not what I go to festivals for. But at the same time, I'm lucky I go to all the festivals in all of Europe. So it's different. And if you only go to one place, then you want to see all the bands, and I totally get that. But for me, it's different.
Les musiciens gardent-ils un souvenir du premier festival qu'ils aient vu dans leur vie?
Well, I don't even know if I have a memory of a festival I attended as a fan, because when I started out with my first band Morgoth in the late 80s, I was like 17, 18 years old, and before that there weren't really big festivals in Germany, for example. And the first festival we played with my band Morgoth was, for example, the Rock Hard Festival and Dynamo Festival in Holland. So that was late 90s, early 90s, when the whole festival thing exploded, kind of, you know. And before that, I don't really remember going to a festival, because there weren't any festivals in the 80s, actually, at least. Not that I remember, and that I would went to. I remember some first club shows. First club show for me was like, I think, Metallica doing a support for Venom 84 in a place called Zeche Bochum, which was like 500 people. So that was one of my first shows when I was like 14.
Download Festival.
For me, it was Reading and Leeds Festival in the UK.
Okay.
That was my very first one. At that point, it was like Metallica, Blink-182. That was my main ones back then for that festival. I can't remember the year. It was a long time ago. Put it that way.
The first time I went to Download, it was Metallica and Linkin Park. I think Guns N' Roses.
Mid-90s, the festivals that I went to, it was one called Hultsfred in Sweden, down south, and there was Roskilde Festival in Denmark, which is still going and still one of the best and biggest ones. So Roskilde was the one that you wanted to go to, and you saved up money and you bought a shitty tent, you got there, you drank warm beer for a week, and you just hung out with your friends, and you saw some incredible bands, you know. And Roskilde has like all kinds of bands. So you can see Napalm Death and Björk at the same day, you know, and see like dance bands and then, you know, anything. So that was like an experience that I treasured back in the day, and that's how I met a lot of friends, and of course a lot of friends from back home. We went together to experience these things together, and it's still something that we can talk about to this day, where you go like, yeah, do you remember '96 when we saw that band, or we saw, you know, I had this experience at a festival, because there's nothing like it, and especially when you're, you know, early 20s or something like that, whatever we were. So I loved it, and Roskilde was the thing for me. So that's been on the bucket list for us as a band, to finally play Roskilde, you know, where it kind of started for us. And we played there like 5 years ago, and it was exactly as fucking fantastic as we had dreamed it to be. So really cool. But that's how it started for me.
Oh, Reading. Reading Festival, yeah. Oh, I went with Paul Ryan, actually, the booking agent. 1990. Faith No More, Iggy Pop, The Cramps, Ned's Atomic Dustbin, Census Things, Mega City 4, The Pogues, I think.
Well, we were always, our local festival was Reading Festival. So I think we were 15 when we first were allowed to go. And the thing I remember the most was just like the freedom I felt. And it's that community thing again, where you step through these doors and it's like, you know, it just felt like everything was acceptable. You know, it was just such a fun place to be, and like the atmosphere I remember more than anything.
À 21h, nous avons rendez-vous dans les loges derrière l'une des main stages où se produit Baby Metal pour une interview exclusive avec deux vétérans de la scène trash américaine, Kerry King et Mark Osgeda, qui sont descendus de scène à peine quelques minutes plus tôt. À eux deux, entre Slayer et Death Angel, on ne compte plus le nombre de passages qu'ils ont pu faire à Clisson, pas loin d'une quinzaine. Que ressentent-ils aujourd'hui à s'y produire dans le contexte de ce nouveau projet commun?
It felt amazing for me. Yeah, absolutely. And with this, you know, juggernaut of a band, it felt wonderful. And I thought the crowd reacted incredibly well. So we were looking forward to this. At least I know I was from the moment it was announced. So, and it lived up to what I was expecting. At least.
Hellfest always shows up.
Yep.
They always show up. And today, being the first day of the festival, they got a lot of fucking energy. And first time we played France, anything.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they were very, very anticipating what we were going to be sounding like in person, and today was my best show. So I'm very happy. Yeah, I have a lot of history here. You know, and not playing here in 5 years, it's when you finally get a chance to come back, it's like, I remember, I mean, of course I remember this festival, but it's such a good production, and the backstage is great, the catering's great, the stage is great, fans are great. The sun didn't fucking cooperate, but the fans had a good time. When you're here in Europe in the summer festival run, there's so much travel. For me, it blurs together. Of course I remember being here. Of course I remember the experience. Of course I remember getting on stage and kicking the shit out of people. But you know, try to do that at every festival. You know, I have my nice memories about here. You know, like you go to the catering room and there's pictures of my heroes. There's pictures of Rob Halford in the catering room. I don't know if there's any more because I haven't been, but you know, it's just cool to go in and see, like, I could hang out here, you know, and just chill looking at all my heroes photographed right where I'm eating and drinking and having a good time. I remember shit like that, you know. I remember being on stage and seeing some performances that Paul, the drummer, might have taken that show up on YouTube. There's always Hellfest. One of my favorite memories, I think it's from Hellfest. It wasn't when I was here, but I looked up on YouTube. Venom played, and Kronos wore a Slayer shirt.
Oh, nice.
That was one of the coolest things I ever saw.
The best reward.
Because he's an old hero of mine.
nous avions rencontré Kerry en promo en Allemagne, seul, mais cette fois, on comprend réellement ce qu'il entendait par groupe, à part entière, et pas uniquement un projet personnel. Qui plus est, un super groupe de musiciens qui ont œuvré pour la reconnaissance du thrash metal.
People are going to call it that. You know, it's the simplistic part of me putting this together was getting my friends. You know, if they've got a history in some other bands, they got history in other bands. You know, we're in this band now, and you know, I think of this as a band. You know, I get everybody's opinion. I don't just go out and say we're doing it this way, and you can't wear that. Yeah. Nothing like that. You know, we're still friends, and we're having a good time.
Le groupe ne s'est pas encore beaucoup produit, mais ont-ils déjà ressenti une évolution entre musiciens et dans l'interprétation live en se frottant à la scène?
Without a doubt, yeah. I mean, Paul's my security blanket because I've been with him off and on for decades. But the other three dudes, you know, especially Kyle and Phil, because they're so fucking big. They're on stage right, just twin towers over there. Just I'll look over at a small gig like Electric Ballroom and say, I'm not even gonna try to get over there. There's no room for me. But a big stage like this, you know, we can spread out and do our own thing. Kyle's a one-man show. All you gotta do is watch him. He's fun. You know, and we're all doing our thing and learning how to coexist in the new environment. And today was a huge culmination for me, you know, not just my playing coming together, but I think everybody had a real good show.
On connaît la puissance de Mark dans Death Angel, mais aujourd'hui, au Hellfest, on l'a senti méchamment plus violent sur scène, sans l'esquisse d'un sourire. Il est interdit de sourire à côté de Kerry?
Not forbidden, but I mean, you know, I feel what the songs are. I'm feeling the lyric. You know, I'm delivering that message, and you know, you get into that character, and that's you got to sell that. You know, and so I feel what's coming out of, you know, the words I'm saying, and I got to say it with such an intensity. I don't even think it'd be possible with a big, you know, grin on your face to come out with that. So it's just because, I mean, with the aggression that I'm approaching these songs, it's a full body attack. You know, it's coming from the bottom of my feet out. You know, every bit of me. So it's just to deliver the way I'm delivering. It's just it's the intensity. You gotta match it in every way, shape, or form to get it out.
C'est inévitable, les fans attendaient avec impatience d'entendre aussi un titre comme Raining Blood. 5 ans de sevrage, c'est long, non?
The fans are getting into the music, but the music's only been out like a month, maybe a little over. So it's not second nature to them, but then when you throw in a song like Raining Blood that's, almost 40 years old, it just lights the crowd up, you know. The longer our set is, the more Slayer stuff we play, just because we don't have enough material on our own. And every time we throw one in, they light up a little more, because it's a little taste of, you know, where I came from, where they came from, and now we're sharing it again.
Eux qui ont vécu l'évolution du Hellfest au fil des années, comprennent-ils qu'une frange du public d'origine se sente un peu dépassée par l'ampleur du décorum?
It's a very popular festival, and it's become an institution in its own right. I don't know if I'd put the words Hellfest and, you know, Disney in the same sentence, but you know, I see why it's become iconic in its own regard. And I mean, not only for the fans, but the bands. As I was saying, I wasn't lying when I said on stage, I'm like, we have been looking forward to this one from the moment it was announced. I remember it's like, we're doing Hellfest, and we all thought, fuck yeah, you know what I mean? So it's just like, we react that way. If you say we're going to Disneyland, we'd be like, really?
Dans 2 ans, on célébrera les 40 ans de l'âge d'or du thrash metal, l'année 1986 ayant été cruciale. Voit-il arriver une nouvelle génération de groupes de tête d'affiche qui pourraient perpétuer le genre?
It's really hard to say because you never really know where the new bands are coming from and how much drive they have and how serious they are. Sure, they're serious for a record or two, but you know, if it doesn't start paying the bills, then they start looking for a job that's going to pay the bills. And, you know, it's different than when either one of us came into this because, I mean, you were younger than me, but I mean, my first record came out when I was 19, so I didn't have to make a whole lot of hard decisions. I just rolled with it. But you know, depending how people come out today, I wouldn't know the first thing about coming out with music today. I mean, it's kind of what we're doing, but we're all established, so it's a little different. But I hope so. You know, I couldn't tell you who that would be. You know, I've thought many things along the years, and I've been wrong. So, you know, I hope somebody comes out and proves me wrong.
Marc nous parle de son souvenir de premier festival auquel il a assisté en tant que fan.
Ironically, back then, when I was growing up, there weren't many metal festivals happening in the U.S.
It'd be like one-off.
Yeah. So it was just. So I guess the closest thing we had, at least up in Northern California, was a thing they called Day on the Green. So that would probably be the closest. And in the 70s, to tell you the truth, I always wanted to go up. I was too young. My parents wouldn't let me, so I didn't get to really go till probably the 80s. And by that point, it was maybe even the 90s. By that point, it was already, you know, Metallica, Faith No More, things like that. Soundgarden would play, you know, Day on the Green, but it wasn't the classic ones. And those are, you know, friends and peers and contemporaries and whatnot, so it was great seeing them. But say, you know, I see the lineups from the 70s. I would have killed to have seen, you know, AC/DC with Bon Scott played it, you know, Skinner just played it, The Who have played it, Zeppelin's played it, so it's just things like that I knew were iconic, but I just, because of the year I was born, I just really technically wasn't allowed to go.
Pour conclure cette première partie consacrée au Hellfest 2024, nous avons demandé à chacun de nous parler de leurs projets respectifs pour les prochains mois.
We've got a new album. Well, we've got a single coming out at the beginning of October for the new album. 3 singles, new album early next year. European tour begins mid-October as well, once I come back from Australia. And then I'll be moving house.
The only thing I have planned is letting Record 1 tour schedule play out. And then me and Paul want to start rehearsing within a week and just, you know, not waste any time because we're not kids anymore, you know, and the way people, if you're not in people's face, you're forgotten very quick in today's society. So we're going to let this record play out. We play it wherever the hell we play, go and record and deliver it to the record company so they can get it out and we can come back and do it again.
The next few months, actually, not too much because Volbeat is going to join the studio in the fall, I think. So then the whole Volbeat circle starts again, and the Asinhell songs are already in the talks, you know, but we haven't recorded anything. But I think Michael has a lot of riffs already in his mind and on his laptop that he records here and there, so there's already some stuff for the new album, which is probably going to come out then in 2026 or late 2025, I guess.
After this run, we're just going to concentrate on the new album. So we've got the first single out, that's kind of first teaser for the new album. We're going to finish that off, track it all up, and then we tour with Slipknot in December. So
yeah, that's the big.
So we got a good break
thing
to finish the album, and then back to touring in December. So
more festivals. We're starting to write music. Think about the next era and stuff, which is exciting. But it's very, very, very early stages. So
yeah, we don't know where it's going to take us at the moment. It's always a fun time because you don't know where you're going, and it could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Voilà, une première journée s'achève au Hellfest pour METALXS. Rendez-vous dans 15 jours pour le nouvel épisode de notre grande rétrospective Hellfest 2024. Très bel été à tous et n'oubliez pas de prolonger l'expérience sur RIFFX.fr. Salut!